Alright, so I'm going to open up and disassemble this Alienware 17R3. So first what we're going to want to do is get a PH1 or GIS1 screwdriver and remove the screws from the bottom. So let's remove the 2 screws here just to see what's underneath this panel. Might be, if you're just doing a upgrade, you might not have to take the whole thing apart. So let's see here. Okay, so on this one I'm going to be replacing the battery. Alright, so just lift this up. Once you get the 2 screws out, you do want to kind of push the 2 sides down while you pull up in the center, just like this, so that way the clips can disengage. Alright, if it's still stuck, you kind of have to work it, wiggle it around. Alright, just like that. Okay, so here you can see we got the cover off, and for most people right now you can change the 2 M.2 SSDs, and then you can also change the 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. You can change that to an SSD as well, and you can change the RAM. So this RAM, I don't know why it's popping out, but here we can see there's the RAM, 8 gigs, PC4 2133P. So if you want to change the RAM, you can use PC4 2133P. Sometimes these models can use different types of RAM, so if you want, you can try those, but it's not guaranteed to work. All right, so they actually have this thing that tells you to release the battery first. Usually if you're just doing the RAM or the hard drives, you don't need to worry about that, but since we're going to take the whole thing apart, let's disconnect the battery. Okay, so be careful because this cable is on top. You don't want to risk damaging it. To remove the battery, it's a little bit tough, so let me try and zoom in and see if you can even see, but the connector is right here. What I do is I try and get underneath the lip of the connector. It's hard to see, but there's the white part of the connector, and I try and get underneath that and kind of use my fingernails to kind of wiggle it as I pull it up, and just keep wiggling it, and it pops out just like that. So here you can see this is the wings. It barely sticks up, and I just have to kind of wiggle it like that to pull it up. All right, usually after you do that, you'll want to press and hold the power button just to drain any power. So open the screen. Okay, let me zoom back out, and then just press and hold the power button for about 10 to 15 seconds just to drain any power from the computer, so it's not risking causing more damage to other components if you are to actually short something. Okay, and then there's also the charge port connector here. This is the DC jack or charge port connector. So if for some reason your computer's not working right with the charger, you can try getting a replacement and plug it in without actually replacing it. You can just connect it here and leave it outside to plug it in just for testing. And then after you test and confirm that that's the issue, you can actually go ahead and remove it. All right, so let's see, what we're going to be doing is removing everything. I'm not sure what NGFF is. I think those are just the SATA SSD, M.2 SSDs, but yeah, we're going to remove all the components now. Let's see, I got too much stuff in the way, I can't even see what's on my screen. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do, disconnect or remove the screw. Keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shapes, lengths. You don't want to get them all mixed up and then you won't be able to put them back. The screws for this panel do stay in place, so you don't need to worry about losing those. All right, so let's remove this SSD. So this also says NGFF SSD1, so I guess you can put, okay, so it does support PCIe and NVMe. It should support it in both slots, so if you wanted, you can get another one, and I think they probably have that, so you can do RAID or something and you can make it even faster. But anyways, I'm going to remove that SSD. All right, setting it aside. The wireless card, it looks like we do have to remove because the antenna runs across here. So if we don't, then it's probably going to get caught on something. So I'm going to be pulling up all these connectors just in case. All right, so we got the hard drive here. There's 4 screws holding that. So let's remove those 4 screws. Okay. So many components are going to be coming out of this. So you want to work on this on a big desk that you can put everything all around so you don't get the components mixed up. I like to put the screws in the pattern that I remove them, so that way I can make sure I put them back exactly the same place I took them out from. Okay, so let's remove these 4 screws. Alright. All right, now that we got the 4 screws, you can lift this up. Okay, you want to be careful because the cable is routed around here. Okay, so we are going to have to unroute this cable. Okay, just like this. All right, and then it goes here. So the hard drive actually connects right there. To remove this connector, let me see if I can show this. But basically you pull up on this. Usually you can just pull up on this and it'll disconnect, but I find it comes out a lot easier if I use my fingernail or a little pry tool to pry underneath here while I pull this up. So just like this, let me see if I can show it. This one's actually really stuck on. There we go. Okay, so just like that. Sorry, I know my fingers were in the way. And then there's 4 screws holding the hard drive in place. And then you have to transfer over this little connector. You just kind of grab it and pull it out. But anyways, I'm going to set that aside. Okay. So many screws here. Okay, I'm going to have to try and keep them all in order. All right. Okay, so we got those. Okay, and then you got all these connectors here. I can't really see what they're connected to, so I don't know right now what they are, but I'll disconnect them. This is most likely the keyboard backlight. Oops, let me zoom back out. So, what is going on? Let me close the door real quick. I'll be back. Okay, so I think I mentioned already, this is most likely the keyboard backlight. So to remove that, you kind of want to get up under both sides. It's kind of tough to reach the other side. I'm going to use this little pick here. And then you basically got to lift up both sides of this connector to disconnect it. So just like that, pops up. Okay. And then once you do that, the connector will fly up. So same thing with this one. You basically lift up the white plastic piece. Okay. Just like that, and then you can pull the connector out. Same thing with this one. Lift that up and then pull it out. So I'm guessing this is backlight, keyboard, and then trackpad. Okay, since I can't see it right now, I'm just guessing. All right, I'm gonna leave these connected. These two look like the fan connectors, and then you got the DC jack connector here. So the DC jack comes out just like the other, like the battery. You kind of just wiggle it. I can't really get a grip on underneath the little white plastic piece, so I'm going to try and use the cable, and you kind of just rock it side to side like this as you kind of pull on it, and it comes out just like that. Okay, then the fan connector, same thing, rock it side to side, and you pull it up and it comes out just like that. Same thing with this one. All right, just rock it side to side and it pops out just like that. All right, the RAM I'm going to leave in there. I just took it out just to show you, but I don't think I have to remove it to actually work on it. And then we're going to remove the wireless card. So there's one screw holding the wireless card in place, and there's this little metal bracket that just goes over the wireless antenna so they don't pop out, though I've never seen a wireless antenna randomly pop out on its own. To remove the antennas, you go from the tail, and then you just pull up from the tail. Okay, so hopefully you can see it in the video. Let me zoom in. Okay, just go from the tail and then just pop it up. Let's see if I can. Usually I'd go from both sides, but it's kind of tilted. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. All right, same thing with the other one. You can use like tweezers or something, might make it easy. All right, there we go. And that's how you remove the antennas. I'm gonna leave the wireless card on there because it looks like it's not really gonna affect removing the cover. But this piece, I'm gonna try and pull this wire up. It's stuck on something, but let's see, why is the wire, oh, it has that little, there's a bump that sticks out on this side, so you kind of have to pull it to this side. And there we go. So I'm gonna, just in case it gets caught on something, I'm removing that. Again, the wireless card, it pops up like the SSD. You can kind of lift it up slightly. You want to make sure to just get underneath the wireless card itself, and then you can slide it back. But there's not much room to remove that, so I'm going to leave it in place just so I don't risk damaging anything. Okay, so now we're going to remove all the rest of the screws. Let me zoom out. Okay. So there are 2 screws on the back here, so we'll have to remove those. Actually, I'm not sure if I have to remove them, but I'm going to remove them anyways. Sorry, it's going off camera. It's hard to do this while in view of the camera, but let me see what I can do. Okay, so we're just going to remove this screw. Okay, again, try and keep all the screws in order. I know there's a lot, but if you're doing this, it's very important. You want to keep them in order, okay? Then there's another screw on this side. You want to remove that one as well. Alright, so we got both those out. Okay, now we're going to have to remove all the rest of these screws. It's a lot of screws, so again, try and keep them all in order. Okay, we got 2 screws here. I like to go in order of this pattern. Okay, there's another screw here. I like to lay them out on my desk in the pattern I remove them so I can remember where I got them from. Okay. Alright, you got another screw here. Got another screw here. Alright, then we got screws in the center. Looks like there's 3 here. Alright, and then we got these screws on the side here. There's another screw in the center. I don't know if we need to remove this one screw that's there. We might have to. Let me see. I'm going to tilt this forward. Looks like those are underneath, so I'm not going to remove that one screw that's on that metal plate, but we're going to remove this middle one. Okay. If I have to remove it later, I will, but for now I'm going to leave that one. There's another screw under here, so remove that one as well. Alright, and then there's another screw over to the side here. Okay, then we got a bunch of screws down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 screws. So remove these. Alright, so hopefully that's all the screws that need to be removed. If we do need to remove the ones on the silver panel thing under there, then we'll do that. But for now, that's all we're removing. Let's see how this thing pops apart. So, I'm assuming what we're going to do is open this up and then pop this off, but let's see. That doesn't want to come out. What about this side? I think it is this piece. There's a little hole here that I can kind of like push in to try and pop this cover up. I might have to use a pry tool, so you might have to use like a thin pry tool like this and then get underneath in between. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so it looks like we are going to have to pop this off, which is the trackpad. So I think what we're going to do is open up the screen and then pop this up. Okay, I have to be careful because there are components over there. Alright, so we're just going to pop this up. Okay, so it helps you get the tool in this way and then you pry it back this way. Okay, alright, so it looks like this panel is coming up and it's pulling these 3 cables with it. Oh, I forgot to disconnect the smaller one. So there's actually a smaller one here. This might actually be for the keyboard backlight actually. And you'll want to pop that cable up as well, or that connector. Okay, it's hard to get in there, so I'm going to use the tool again. Just like that, and then pull that connector out. Did they actually label these? Okay, they have keyboard backlight, keyboard, MK, I don't know what that stands for, mouse something, maybe, MKB. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I guess when we pull this up, we'll find out. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this up this way, make it a little bit easier. I accidentally clipped everything back in, so I'm gonna have to pop these back out. Okay, just going this way. Same thing along the sides, it looks like. You want to be careful on this side. There's the SD card slot thing. You want to remove that just to be safe. Let's see, anything else? Nope. Okay, so we're going to carefully go down the side and then pop those clips out as well. Normally I wouldn't do it at this weird angle, but I'm trying to let you guys see what's going on. Okay, those are down there are a little bit more difficult, so I don't want to try and pop them. I'm going to see if I use my fingernail. Okay, let's flip this back over. Alright, let's see here. It is coming up. So trying to show this in camera makes it more difficult to work with. I might have to not show this, but we'll see. Okay, this whole thing is pushing up. Okay, so I don't need to remove that screw on the silver one. Okay, I'm going to try and see about popping the clips on this side. There we go. Okay, it is popping out. You want to, I don't know if you can see, but I'm using the tool and then I'm pulling it up. Okay, and that kind of pulls the side plastic piece away from the clips. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to lay this back forward. Most of it's out. The back side is stuck. I don't think I can just pop the back side out. Let me see here. Okay, so this looks like it should just pop up, so I think I just have to pull them out. Okay, so you want to be careful again because there's all the cables that are going to get pulled through from the bottom. Let me see if I can actually show this. But here you can see as I pull this, these cables are getting pulled in. So we are going to have to be careful with those cables. Make sure they go inside. Okay. And there we go. It looks like as you just pull it up, it did disconnect. So let's try and release this. I think this customer said they did have wireless issues as well. So I'm going to have to check that. Okay, then you got this part of the keyboard. We're going to have to disconnect this cable as well. There's some adhesive holding it. So you want to peel up this adhesive. Okay. You want to be careful not to peel it sideways, so you want to grab it and then peel it towards yourself. Okay, this is alright, there we go. And then what you want to do, if you can, let's see, are there the wings there for me to grab? I can't really see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this cable and kind of just wiggle it as I pull it. There we go, and it comes out just like that. So it looks like that's just for the power button. Okay, so the power button, the LEDs, let me see if I can show this. So you got this cable here, it goes for this little board, and then you got the power LEDs here. You got this for the trackpad. So this actually connects the trackpad to the computer. And it looks like these two are for the keyboard. And then, yeah. I guess this, because they made the keyboard more complex where you can adjust the lighting in different areas. That's why they have so many cables. Okay, and then you got the trackpad and the trackpad connector here. So this is all like connected. And you can remove this. It looks like there's screws holding it. But I'm going to leave that as is. Okay. Alright, so we're going to set that aside. Customer said they were having wireless issues, but usually only when the computer was overheating. So I'm going to check. They asked me to do the thermal paste, so I am going to take the whole thing out. Here you can see the battery. Now the screen is blocking my view from what I'm showing you, so it's hard for me to see what I'm showing you. But here you got the battery. You got this speaker cables going across, and then you got this cable for the LEDs up here going across as well. So we are going to have to disconnect those. So let's disconnect the speakers. So I just grab the wings like this, and then I just wiggle it as I pull it, and it pops out just like that. Alright, then we're going to move this cable, unroute it from there, just to get it out of the way. I'm going to just leave the speaker there because I don't have to actually take it out. Then the LED cable, same thing, grab the wings, wiggle it and it comes out. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna peel this up. You want to be careful not to like crease this cable, so I try and keep it flat while I like pull it that way while I kind of lift it up. Just like that. Okay, now we're gonna disconnect or remove the battery. So the battery has the screws here. There's one screw on top here. Okay, I'm probably gonna put the battery in before I do the rest. So there's another screw down here. Okay, then we got another screw here. I don't know why it shows this 15-inch only. I guess the 15-inch model has a screw there or something. Okay, and then there's a screw here. This one says 17-inch only, so it looks like for the 17-inch model, then they put a screw there. Then we got two more screws, one up here and one down there. Okay, again, try and keep the screws in order. Alright, there we go. Get this cable back out of the way. Alright, so hopefully now the battery will just lift out, so we can lift it up like this. And we are going to have to slide it because this plastic goes underneath the motherboard, so you slide the battery out like this. And here you can see the battery's coming out. It is caught on something, I'm not sure what. Maybe the cable. Let me take a look underneath. Okay, let's see here. Okay, yeah, so the cable I think is getting caught. So you want to, I'm going to fold the cable in this way and then just push it through the hole. So that way it's out of the way. Okay, open it back up. Here you can see the cable now is out here. Okay, again, we're going to lift this up slightly just to clear the speakers and this cable as well. Then we're going to slide it out, and there we go. So you got the battery out just like that. Okay, I'm going to get the replacement battery. So they got a replacement battery here. It looks pretty much the same. The stickers are different, but yeah. Okay, so just like the other one, you're probably going to have to move the battery cable out of the way to get it to go underneath. Or what you can do is you can twist it this way, have it go underneath this way, I think, but then you have to lift it up so it can go underneath. Alright, let's see if that works. We'll slide it over, and then we'll slide these little things underneath the motherboard. We are going to actually take out the motherboard, so if you're doing that, you don't have to do this, but I'm just showing the easiest way you can do to replace the battery if you're doing this, okay? So that you don't have to do a bunch of extra steps. Okay, so now I'm going to put back the screws for the battery. That one screw. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay, looks like you can. Alright, this one screw. I might be having customers coming soon, so I might have to end the call in a bit, or not the call, the video in a bit. And then I might have to just stitch the two together. Alright, and then we got this one screw here. I hope I'm putting that in the right spot. Okay. One in, so there we go. Yep, I don't think I had to put, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, and we got this one screw here. Oh, nope, sorry. It goes into the 17-inch only part. Alright, and then we got the two screws down here. And when you go to plug in the battery, it's always good to check the old battery to see which way it was plugged in. We're not going to plug in the battery yet because we still have to work on a whole bunch of other pieces. So I'm just putting the battery here so it's already in place when I need it. Alright, let me close this and then look at the bottom. You can see, okay, so the charge port is disconnected. So make sure when you put this back, okay, so here you can see the battery was connected like this. So as you can see on the back, there's this flat part with the notch, and then there's this side with the pins. So you want it to do the same thing. You want the ones with the pins going towards the RAM, it looks like, and then the flat part going towards the back. Okay, just make sure that looks right. Okay, yeah, so that's important. The one with the pins goes toward the RAM. The side that is completely plastic goes towards that side. Okay. All right. So now we're going to open this thing back up, and then we're going to go ahead and try to remove the whole logic board here. So I might have to remove these little brackets as well. We'll see. It looks like the screws on the back you didn't have to actually remove. Those hold down the hinge for the screen. So if you're not actually removing the screen from the entire assembly, you don't have to remove that. To remove that, you'd also have to take out these screws on this bracket. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be removing the motherboard. So let's peel up this tape that's holding down the wireless antennas. And then we're going to pull the wireless antennas through here. So let's lift this up. Okay, straighten out the wireless antennas on the back here and then push them through. And it should come through to the other side. All right, just like that. Okay. All right, there we go. So we've got the wireless antennas out. We just need them to be out of the way for when we take the thing out. All right, then we got this here. We're gonna have to undo that. I think this is for like the webcam. So we're gonna peel that up. It could also be for just for these lights and stuff here. But we're gonna peel this up, and then we're gonna disconnect this cable. So peel this back. Can't even see what I'm showing you guys because this stuff's in the way, but okay. And then with the wings, I use my fingernails again. You just kind of wiggle that and pop it out. There we go. All right, you got the LCD LVDS connector. Again, if you're doing this, I hope you disconnected the battery and everything and held the power button down. That's very important. If you didn't hold the power button down for 10 to 15 seconds, removing this can actually fry your motherboard. It can fry the backlight circuit, can fry your screen. But anyways, once you pull up this little metal latch, then you just grab it and then you wiggle the bottom part of the latch out like that. Okay, there we go. Looks like we got all of those out. Okay, so now let's remove the rest of the screws. There's this connector here for this small board. I'm gonna leave this small board in if I don't have to remove it. Then you got this little connector, looks like for the CMOS battery, and I'm gonna leave that as well. Okay, or actually, what's that small red cable? I can't see. Actually, that might not be a CMOS cable. What is this cable? I'm not sure. Okay, so we're gonna lift this latch up on this side, just like the LCD one. Let me actually zoom in and show this a little bit better. Okay, so you got this. We're gonna lift up the little metal latch here. So here you can see that little latch comes up. Once you do that, same thing like the LCD or LVDS cable, pinch it, and then at the bottom, you wanna use the bottom of the hinge, that little flap to pull that back, okay? So there we go, we got that disconnected. And now we're gonna remove all the screws from the motherboard or the logic board, whatever you wanna call it. Okay, so let's remove these screws. Again, try and keep them in order. So we got one in this corner. They actually put an arrow there to help you. So they are numbered, it looks like. This one has a 5, okay. So I guess we'll remove the 5 first. There's a 4 here. We'll remove the 4 next. Okay, let's see if I can put these in here. Okay, 4. Then you got a 3 here. Okay. Looks like they don't number all of them. There is a 1. Oh, I guess this is the 2 in this corner here. All right, then there's a 1 down here. Of course, we're going to want to remove the battery screw as well. So let's remove that. Okay. And I think that's it. I thought I saw another screw here somewhere, but it looks like, okay, hopefully that's it. Then what we do, we lift this board up. Oh, it is trapped underneath here. So it looks like we do have to remove the screen after all. Okay, so I don't know if we have to remove these little hinge covers, so I'm going to leave those on. If I do have to remove them, I'll remove them. So let's remove the hinge screws here. So there's 2 holding this hinge in place. Okay, I think my customer's here. Okay, I'm going to have to pause this video and then resume with another one. I might make a part 2 just because this is such a long video. I don't know, because sometimes stitching it together makes the video quality not as good. Anyways, I'm gonna finish removing this. Okay, and then there's 1 screw hidden underneath the wireless antenna, so we're gonna have to take these cables, unroute them, and then get the screw under here. Okay. Be careful, you don't want to drop the screen. There we go, so we got those 4 screws out. And then hopefully now we can just lift the screen out. Just kind of grab it, wiggle it, and there we go. So there's the whole screen assembly. Okay, we got that out. And now we're going to continue with the main board. Let me set the screen aside somewhere safe. Okay. And then we got the main board now. Now that we got the hinge out, we should be able to hopefully lift this up. Looks like it's still getting caught somewhere. Okay, let's see here. Is there something back there holding into it? The HDMI port feels like it's getting caught. Okay, so we kind of have to wiggle this, it looks like. Maybe you have to pull this back a little. Yeah, the HDMI port was getting caught. There we go. So I had to pull the little plastic back so it cleared the HDMI port. Then you kind of lift it at an angle and pull it out just like this. So there we go. We got the whole motherboard out. And then I'm going to do a part 2 where I reassemble everything after I clean all of this up. I might actually do also the video because I have to redo the thermal paste. So I'll see you guys in part 2. I'll try and put the link in the description for part 2 below. And yep. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. And there's also the wireless card there. I can pull it out. So if they do need to replace that, because I don't see why heat would affect it except for near the GPU there. But alright, I'll see you guys in part 2. Bye.